This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Once again, Donald Trump suing somebody has backfired on him in a big way and has implications for all of his criminal prosecutions. What am I talking about on this hot take? He sued Michael Cohen, his former fixer and lawyer down in Florida, in April in a federal court as a retaliation for Michael Cohen having cooperated with the Manhattan DA's office in the Stormy Daniels business record fraud case brought against Donald Trump in March. By April, Donald Trump said, time for payback, time for retribution. So he filed a case against Michael Cohen on, and this is my view, 32 years of doing this, practicing law, on a really ridiculous set of claims about breaching fiduciary duty as a former attorney and breach of contract for an indefinite contract nobody can figure out. That's either going to get dismissed by the federal judge at some point in the case, because I doubt this is going to see the light of day of trial. And it wasn't filed for that reason. It was filed to try to silence Michael Cohen and as witness intimidation. But it's going to backfire, because one of the things that came out of a hearing just this past week is that there are text messages between Stormy Daniels, the porn star, and Donald Trump, which Donald Trump has saved and will have to produce to Michael Cohen during the course of this case. And of course, Donald Trump doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want those text messages to come out. And I got a newsflash for Donald Trump. I'll tell you how this ends. If you file against somebody in a civil case and you're the plaintiff, it's very difficult for you to stop embarrassing text messages between you and your porn star lover to come out in the public domain, because we have the right as the public. We sit at the table of a trial, whether it's criminal or civil. The public is a stakeholder, because we don't do secret trials in this country. I mean, we don't do them, if you want secret trial, and go do an arbitration behind closed doors where reporters and jurors and the public have no right to be. But if you're in federal court is like open door policy, right? Everything's on the electronic docket for everyone to see. You can try to mark something confidential. You can try to seal it, literally seal it from prying eyes on the docket. But there are very strict standards for what gets sealed and what doesn't get sealed. Let me give you an example. If you're Coca-Cola, the secret formula for Coke can probably get sealed so the public doesn't get to see it and competitors don't. But if you're a former president that slept outside your marriage, your text message with your former porn star lover is probably not one of those super secret things that is going to be covered by a protective order or a motion to seal. The lawyer for Donald Trump, who seems like a very fine chap down in Miami, I never heard of him, even though I practiced down there for 20 years, who practices apparently based on his website, franchise litigation, speaking of McDonald's and Coca-Cola. If you have a franchise dispute, sounds like he's your man. If you've got a complicated case involving Donald Trump and Michael Cohen, maybe not so much, but we'll see. The jury's still out down in Florida. But his argument, the lawyer for Donald Trump's argument, and I'm going to present it straight here, okay? Because I don't blow smoke or sunshine on these hot takes, is these are very highly sensitive documents and information that are not for public consumption. Well, newsflash, there's no such thing as the not for public consumption doctrine in federal practice, and that's not going to fly. So if that's your best argument, and I assume it is because you led with it in the courtroom, you usually lead with your best argument, then you're going to lose. The one area where the magistrate judge, this was a hearing about discovery in federal courts are handled and adjudicated by magistrate judges who sit under the federal judge. We've heard a lot about magistrate judges in the criminal process in federal court down in Florida and other places, because they also handle things like search warrants and subpoenas and arraignments. That's why we saw all of Donald Trump and Walt Nauta being arraigned. In fact, Walt Nauta was arraigned in front of this very magistrate, Chief Magistrate Judge Edwin Torres, that I'm going to talk about. But when they're not doing criminal cases, and the magistrate judges aren't handling, things related to preparing the case for a trial, they handle civil cases. And in civil cases, like commercial disputes between people, breach of contract and breach of fiduciary duty, and what we call business injury cases, business tort, T-O-R-T cases, then they also manage discovery and the exchange of information in a federal court practice. Some documents have to be automatically produced under the federal court rules. They just do. The federal rules of civil procedure say you got to take a batch of documents that you have at the beginning of your case, and the other side's got to do the same thing, and you got to exchange that. If you got to tell them who your witnesses are right in the very beginning. Same thing for the other side. And then you can conduct formal discovery, which is back and forth, requests to produce, documents back and forth, interrogatories, which are questions under oath, and then you can get to depositions. And you can do that under the auspices of the federal magistrate. This hearing was because Donald Trump wants a protective order over everything. He wants like the entire case sealed so that, I can't do hot takes. So that the MeidasTouch network and other networks can't follow and the public can't learn what's going on in this ridiculous lack of merit lawsuit he brought against Michael Cohen. And Edwin Torres, who's a very fine magistrate who I've been in front of down in Florida, said, you know what, on the attorney-client privilege stuff, until I figure out whether privilege was blown here by Donald Trump, by the, the crime fraud exception that strips away attorney-client privilege from somebody if you also commit a crime with your lawyer, which is probably in play here with Michael Cohen, who went to jail for doing some things that were not lawful involving Donald Trump. So Edwin Torres said, you know what, on the attorney-client stuff, I can see the argument there. We'll probably try to put some sort of seal or confidentiality on that. But the rest of it, the text messages with Stormy Daniels, I mean, he didn't say it with eye-popping approach the way I just did, but I'm giving my artist rendering. Those you're going to have to do better than that. And the burden is on Donald Trump's side to tell me why, under the federal rules, this has to be sealed or confidential. Let's stop cutting down trees to make toilet paper. It's true. Humans are cutting down tens of thousands every day just to supply the American need for toilet paper. And the worst part is that when we use trees for toilet paper, it's just one use and done. It obviously can't be recycled or reused, so it just goes straight into our water system. That's why I made the switch to real paper. Real is 100% bamboo, so we're using a plant that grows fast, can be harvested and regenerated like grass on a lawn, and it doesn't impact entire ecosystems of forests. Real is the best kind of eco-friendly product because it doesn't feel like you're sacrificing something to help the earth. In fact, it feels like an upgrade. It's always shipped free to my door in plastic-free packaging, and I can schedule it on a subscription so that it comes exactly when I need it. And I never have to worry about forgetting to buy any at the store. Real is now partnered with One Tree Planted. With every box of Real that you buy, they are funding reforestation efforts across the country. So unlike the other TP that cuts down trees, Real is helping to actively plant them. I'm thrilled to have Real Paper as a sponsor to align my eco goals with a product that nature makes me use every day and to avoid further impact on the planet. Real Paper is available in easy, hassle-free subscriptions or for one-time purchases on their website. All orders are conveniently delivered to your door with free shipping in 100% recyclable plastic-free packaging. If you head to realpaper.com/legalaf and sign up for a subscription using code LegalAF at checkout, you'll automatically get 30% off your first order and free shipping. That's REELPAPER.com/legalAF or enter promo code LegalAF to get 30% off your first order plus free shipping. Let's make a change for good this year and switch to Real Paper. Real is paper for the planet. So here's a perfect example, once again, of Donald Trump backfiring by filing something in court. This is now the fourth example that we've seen in the last 10 days. He filed a petition in Georgia, Donald Trump, to try to get the Georgia Fulton County prosecutor, Fani Willis, disqualified and get all of her prior special purpose grand jury work thrown out. And all it did is have the Republican 9-0 Georgia Supreme Court dismiss the petition and tell him that he didn't have any merit to it. He then files a motion for new trial in the same week in federal court in New York because he wants to get a new trial in the E. Jean Carroll sexual battery and defamation case where he lost for $5 million on a 9-0 vote by a jury, 6 men and 3 women. He didn't like that result. And that just gave the judge 50 pages, 50, of laying out all of the evidence for him and the public of all the evidence against Donald Trump and why what he did to E. Jean Carroll in no uncertain terms was rape and nothing else and nothing less. And so he lost that. On the same day, he files, or on the same week, he gets an order from another federal judge where he tried to take the same New York State Supreme Court case, which is a trial level court in New York, on the Stormy Daniels criminal case, which is going to trial March 25. He didn't like the Judge Merchan, because I don't know, he gave $15 to Joe Biden. His daughter works for some Democratic marketing PR firm. And Merchan was the judge that oversaw the felony conviction of Donald Trump's two businesses for 17 counts of tax fraud last summer. So I get he doesn't like the judge. So he tries to get the case away from him and just over to federal court, crossing the Rubicon from state to federal court. But he didn't have the grounds to do that because there was very narrow ability for a former president or anybody to take a case from state to federal court. And he didn't meet the criteria, but it just gave the judge 20 pages to lay out all of the evidence against Donald Trump in the criminal case that hasn't even gone to trial yet. So it's great for the public because we get to see all the evidence and judges, federal judges and other judges basically telling Donald Trump that he's going to lose. And here is why. And here is all the evidence arrayed against you. Same thing now in the same 2-week period, he loses again. And he's going to have to reveal ultimately the Stormy Daniels text messages that are going to come flying out into the public. And they're going to be attached to filings by Michael Cohen. If Michael Cohen doesn't win the motion to dismiss and have the case kicked, because, just to walk through that, the motion to dismiss is fully briefed for Michael Cohen. The judge then has a hearing usually. The hearing after that, he'll then rule, although he can just do it on the papers. And sometime, the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to get a ruling. If he rules for Michael Cohen, he'll probably give Donald Trump the ability to replead, try one more time on some of these counts. And he might dismiss other counts with prejudice, meaning he can't try again. So we're going to be in pleading world, trying and retrying for the next 6 months in the Cohen case. So there's going to be discovery in the meantime. They're going to do depositions while these motions are pending. This doesn't stop the exchange of information or depositions. And that's why this hearing that I'm reporting on before Judge Torres, in which the lawyer for Trump was forced to reveal the existence of text messages between Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. I guess he's not going to be able to deny he had a relationship with her. Not if he's got her on his text chain, happened in open court. I'm going to follow the developments in Trump v. Cohen and what happens with Michael Cohen right back at him. Only here on the MeidasTouch Network. You can follow me, Michael Popok, on all things social media at MS Popok, including Threads. We pull all these, hot takes together, and you can watch them in a playlist that's for me, Michael Popok. You slide over on the MeidasTouch YouTube channel, slide over to playlist, move down to Michael Popok. You'll see my whole library that you can catch up on hot takes. Then we pull this together and curate a long format podcast that we show on Wednesdays and Saturdays only on, you guessed it, the MeidasTouch Network. You knew that. You're watching me here. And that is called Legal AF. And you can watch that on YouTube, free subscribe, or you can get it anywhere you get your podcast. Also free subscription. Everything's free, right? The defense of democracy, watering the tree of democracy and liberty is free. Just participate in it the way you're doing right now on watching hot takes, just like this one. If you like what I'm doing, put a thumbs up. I'm Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.